In our last lesson, we spent quite some time discussing the fourth dynasty that ruled under the Delhi Sultanate. That was the Sayyid dynasty. This dynasty ruled from 1414 to 1451. Now, during the rule of the various sultans under the Sayyid dynasty, the Delhi Sultanate was slowly shrinking in size. It was also losing its power. We also talked about how it was the last sultan of the Sayyid dynasty, that is Alauddin Alam Shah, who gave up charge and voluntarily moved to Badaun. During this phase, a political vacuum was prevalent in the Delhi Sultanate because there was no one sultan who would lead the dynasty. Now, during the rule of the last Sayyid sultan, that is Alauddin Alam Shah, Bahlul Lodi was the governor of Sirhind in the province of Punjab. Now, when Alauddin Alam Shah voluntarily left his charge as the sultan of the Sayyid dynasty, Bahlul Lodi saw that it was fertile ground for him to now come to power. 3 years later, he first brought under his control the province of Punjab, and soon after he went on to controlling Delhi. And so, the year 1451 was when Bahlul Lodi finally established himself as the Sultan of the Delhi Sultanate. Now, Bahlul Lodi also laid the foundation of a new dynasty, that was the Lodi Dynasty. Bahlul Lodi was the founder of the fifth and the last dynasty that ruled under the Delhi Sultanate, that was the Lodi Dynasty. This dynasty ruled from 1451 to 1526. It is the rule of this dynasty and the various sultans who ruled under this dynasty that we will be focusing in this lesson. When Bahlul Lodi ascended the throne, he knew that he had to gain the support and popularity of his masses. So, in order to gain recognition, in order to gain support of his masses, Bahlul Lodi never sat on the throne. Instead, he opted to sit on the carpet. In this way, he wanted to show his nobles that he was on the equal plane with them. Bahlul Lodi sat on the carpet instead of the throne. Now, Bahlul Lodi ruled from 1451 to 1489. That is, this first sultan of the Lodi dynasty ruled between this period. Now, let us find out what was happening after the rule of Bahlul Lodi. Bahlul Lodi, as the first sultan under the Lodi dynasty, enjoyed a long rule of 38 years. He ruled from 1451 to 1489, and on the 12th of July 1489, Bahlul Lodi died. Now you must be wondering what happened to the Lodi dynasty after the death of its founder in 1489. So, following the death of Bahlul Lodi in 1489, the Lodi dynasty was witness to power struggle between his sons. So, his sons were then struggling for power to ascend the throne. This illustration shows you how his sons were now struggling to get the crown and ascend the throne as the Sultan of the Lodi dynasty. Now, who finally managed to ascend the throne after the death of Bahlul Lodi? It was his son Nizam Khan who now ascended the throne. After ascending the throne in 1489, Nizam Khan assumed the royal title of Sikandar Lodi. Henceforth, Nizam Khan came to be known as Sikandar Lodi, and it was he who succeeded the throne after the death of his father, that was Bahlul Lodi. Now let us talk about the rule of Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar Lodi ruled from 1489 to 1517. Now, in our previous lesson, we learned that during the rule of the various sultans of the Sayyid dynasty, the Delhi Sultanate was losing its power. It was no longer as huge as it had been under the rule of the sultans of the former dynasties, that is during the Tughlaq, Khalji and the Mamluk dynasty. Mubarak Shah was the ablest sultan to rule under the Sayyid dynasty. But we learnt that the last sultan, that is Alauddin Alam Shah, was not able to hold the dynasty together. Now, when Sikandar Lodi ascended the throne, he took it upon himself to further strengthen the power of the dynasty. He took this responsibility upon his shoulder to expand the dynasty. Sikandar Lodi was a very courageous fighter. He was another powerful sultan, and on account of his being very courageous, he expanded the power of the Delhi Sultanate. So the Delhi Sultanate that was losing power under the Sayyid dynasty now again gained power during the rule of Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar Lodi also followed a pattern that was similar to the one followed by the Mamluk Sultan Ghiyasuddin Balban. Now Ghiyasuddin Balban never appointed any man of low and humble birth to his court. Sikandar Lodi also did the same thing. He never meddled with the individuals or commoners in his dynasty, and he never appointed any man of humble birth to high posts. This he did to maintain the dignity of his court. Only men of high birth made it to his court as nobles, as various officials. This pattern was also seen during the rule of Ghiyasuddin Balban, and during the rule of Sikandar Lodi as well. He never appointed any man of humble birth to high administrative posts. Sikandar Lodi was a courageous fighter. He was a powerful sultan, and this we have already learnt. Now, in order to ensure a very smooth functioning of his rule, he established a spy system. Now, what was this spy system intended to do? It intended to keep a strict vigil on the workings of new governors, nobles and different uncivilized components of the state. So, the spy system was established during the rule of Sikandar Lodi so that he can keep a tab on the activities of his nobles, of his governors. In this way, he also ensured a smooth functioning of his rule. He ensured that everyone was working properly. And it is for this reason that this spy system was organized. Sikandar Lodi also introduced the Ghazi-e-Sikandari. Now, what was Ghazi-e-Sikandari? Ghazi-e-Sikandari was a measurement unit. This measurement unit was equivalent to 39 inches. Now, in order to measure any land of 39 inches, this measurement unit or Ghazi-e-Sikandari was used, because this unit was equivalent to 39 inches. During his rule, Sikandar Lodi also committed himself to developing agriculture and industry. In this way, he was further strengthening the rule of the Delhi Sultanate. At the cost of repeating oneself, we should keep in mind that during the Sayyid dynasty, the Delhi Sultanate was losing its power, and under the rule of Sikandar Lodi in the Lodi dynasty, the Delhi Sultanate was now again gaining power. The Delhi Sultanate was now able to reassert its power. Through this discussion, we came to the point that Sikandar Lodi had devoted himself to expanding his dynasty and strengthening its power. We also learnt that he tried to develop agriculture and industry. And in the process of developing agriculture, he abolished duty on grain and encouraged farmers to improve agriculture. Now, by abolishing duty on grains, the farmers were encouraged to work properly, because they were now not having to pay various duties. And in this way, agricultural growth was also promoted during the rule of Sikandar Lodi. But what else did he do to further strengthen his rule? He also introduced an informal system of price. Now, what was this informal system of price intended to do? This system of price was meant to provide necessities of life at affordable prices to all the people who were living in his dynasty. And in this way, he promoted agricultural growth simultaneously with the well-being of his subjects. Along with that, he also reduced trade restrictions. Now, why did he reduce trade restrictions? Because in the former case, we learned that by abolishing duty on grains, farmers were encouraged to pursue agriculture. And by reducing trade restrictions, traders were now able to carry out their trade properly. And this in turn meant economic prosperity for the dynasty. Now, these are few of the ideas that Sikandar Lodi implemented to strengthen his rule and to make the Delhi Sultanate very powerful. The power that the Delhi Sultanate lost during the rule of the various sultans under the Sayyid dynasty was now coming back to it again. The Delhi Sultanate was again gaining prominence, popularity and power during the rule of Sikandar Lodi. But at the same time, Sikandar Lodi was also very severe with Hindus because he threatened Hindus to follow Islam. Initially, he encouraged Hindus to follow Islam, and when this was not done, he used either the sword or cash. That is, he either threatened Hindus into following Islam or bribed them into doing so. This is a religious policy that was adopted during the rule of Sikandar Lodi. Do you know who this famous personality is? And do you also know the name of the musical instrument that he is playing? Yes, you are right. This is Ustad Bismillah Khan, who is playing a musical instrument called The musical instrument he is playing is called Shehnai. Now you must be wondering why we suddenly began discussing the Shehnai while talking about the rule of Sikandar Lodi. Let us find the reason behind this. This is because Sikandar Lodi was a great lover of the music of Shehnai. He was very fond of the music of this musical instrument, which is why we brought in Shehnai into our discussion. Lahjat-e Sikandar Shahi is a work on music, and this work was created during the rule of Sikandar Lodi. So you must have understood by now how fond he was of the music of Shehnai. Now, before proceeding with this lesson, let me ask you a question. This is something we have discussed just now. Which ruler was a lover of the music of Shehnai? Was it Bahlul Lodi? Was it Sikandar Lodi? Was it Alauddin Shah? Or was it Mubarak Shah? Yes, you are right. It was Sikandar Lodi who was very fond of the music of Shehnai. During the rule of the various sultans under the Delhi Sultanate, the sultans embarked on a project of construction of mosques. Now, why were mosques constructed in different cities during the rule of these various sultans? This is because the sultans wanted to portray themselves as the protectors of Islam and Muslims. And in order to show themselves or establish themselves as the protectors of Islam, they were constructing mosques throughout their dynasties. Now, there is another major reason why mosques were being constructed. It is because mosques promote a growth of community feeling. This promotes a sense of community sharing. Along with that, it also establishes common belief and a common code of conduct. Now, during the Delhi Sultanate, we have learnt that various sultans were controlling or ruling over different areas. Now, in these different areas, different groups of people lived. To bring everyone together, to unite them with a sense of one community sharing, to give them a common belief, a common code of conduct, these mosques were constructed, and it is in these mosques that people came together and felt a sense of community feeling. One such mosque that was built during the reign of Sikandar Lodi is known as the Maut Ki Masjid. Now, Maut Ki Masjid was made by the Prime Minister of Sikandar Lodi, whose name was Wazir Mian Bhoya. He was the Prime Minister during the rule of Sultan Sikandar Lodi, and it was he who built Maut Ki Masjid in the year 1505. Now, this very name, Maut Ki Masjid, might sound a little unfamiliar to you. You must be wondering from where the name of this mosque was derived. Let us now find that out. Maut Ki Masjid literally means lentil mosque. Now, why was a mosque called lentil mosque? This is because the money that was earned from the cultivation of lentils, that is moth, was used to build this mosque. It is for this reason that this mosque that was built during the rule of Sikandar Lodi was known as Maut Ki Masjid. It was Sultan Sikandar Lodi himself who presented the seed of moth to Prime Minister Wazir Bhoya, and it was this Prime Minister who constructed the Maut Ki Masjid in the year 1505. Now, this is an image that might be familiar to you. I suppose quite a few of you have already visited this monument. Will you be able to tell me what this monument is called and where this monument is situated? Yes, you are right. This monument is called Taj Mahal, and it is situated in the city of Agra. Now, Taj Mahal is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is a world heritage. And who built this? The Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan built Taj Mahal in memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. Now, why are we suddenly discussing Taj Mahal? This is because Taj Mahal is situated in the city of Agra, which is an important point in our discussion. Now, who founded this city and how important this city was during the rule of the Lodi Dynasty? Let us find this out. The city of Agra was founded by Sikandar Lodi in the year 1506. So, it was Sikandar Lodi who founded this city, and in this city Taj Mahal was built later on by a Mughal emperor by the name of Shah Jahan. Now, previously Delhi was the capital of the Delhi Sultanate during the rule of various dynasties. It was the Mamluk Sultan Iltutmish who shifted the capital of the Delhi Sultanate from Lahore to Delhi. Now, during the rule of Muhammad Tughlaq, a shift of capital again took place. Muhammad Tughlaq shifted the capital of his dynasty from Delhi to Daulatabad and back to Delhi again. So, Delhi was the capital of the Delhi Sultanate. Now, it was during the rule of Sikandar Lodi that he founded the city Agra in the year 1506, and soon after he shifted his capital, his center of power, from Delhi to Agra. It is for this reason that Agra came into our discussion, because during the rule of Sikandar Lodi, Agra was now the capital of the Lodi dynasty under the Delhi Sultanate. After Sikandar Lodi's death, he was succeeded by Ibrahim Lodi. So, now Ibrahim Lodi became the new Sultan of the Lodi dynasty under the Delhi Sultanate. Ibrahim Lodi ruled from 1517 to 1526. Ibrahim Lodi was a very cruel and ruthless sultan. He did not have cordial and healthy relations with his nobles. He failed to have any kind of good relations with his nobles. Along with this, he also got his nobles imprisoned from time to time. You must have understood how cruel a sultan Ibrahim Lodi was. His cruelty knew no bounds. Why is it so? This is because he was cruel enough to kill and even poison many of his officials. He not just had them imprisoned, he killed and poisoned his officials. This was how cruel and ruthless Ibrahim Lodi was. But Ibrahim Lodi's cruelty wasn't restricted to his nobles only. It took place within his own family as well. How did it take place? This is because he treated his son Dilwar Khan Lodi very cruelly. Even his son was also treated very cruelly. His son was treated very badly by Ibrahim Lodi. This proves the point that we have been trying to establish, that Ibrahim Lodi was a very cruel sultan. Now what did this cruelty, this ruthlessness on the part of Ibrahim Lodi lead to? Because of this cruelty, his nobles, his subjects were against him. The people who were living in his dynasty did not like his rule, did not like him as their sultan. Simultaneously with that, the nobles, the officials who were working under him were rebelling against him from time to time. It is for this reason that he had many secret enemies. These secret enemies and rebels wanted to revolt against him. They wanted to overthrow him from the position of the Sultan of the Lodi dynasty. And what did this motive among his nobles eventually lead to? This led to the final downfall of Ibrahim Lodi. And who actualized this downfall? It was one of his officials, Daulat Khan. Daulat Khan invited Babur from Central Asia. Why was Babur invited? Because Daulat Khan wanted to seek revenge on Ibrahim Lodi. He wanted to overthrow Ibrahim Lodi, and it is for this reason that he had invited Babur to attack India and take revenge from the Sultan of Delhi. The Sultan of Delhi at that point was Ibrahim Lodi. Now following this took place the Battle of Panipat, where Ibrahim Lodi and Babur came face to face. This battle took place in the year 1526. Now you must be wondering who emerged victorious out of this battle. Let us now devote our discussion to the Battle of Panipat and how it has been important in the pages of history. The Battle of Panipat, as we just discussed, took place on April 21, 1526. It took place between the troops of Ibrahim Lodi and the invading army of Babur. Babur came from Central Asia upon being invited by Daulat Khan to invade India. This battle took place in a place called Panipat, that is located in the modern day state of Haryana. Now this battle that took place in the year 1526 is known as the first battle of Panipat because two other battles of Panipat took after this. But it is only the first battle of Panipat that we will be focusing in this lesson. Now to answer your question that who won the first battle of Panipat, it was Babur. It were the troops of Babur that won the Battle of Panipat. Babur expected Ibrahim Lodi to have around 100,000 men. But in reality, Ibrahim Lodi had 30 to 40,000 men and 1,000 war elephants. So on Babur's side, there were around 15,000 men and 20 to 24 pieces of field artillery, and on the side of Ibrahim Lodi, there were around 30 to 40,000 men and 1,000 war elephants. By seeing the figures, you will be able to understand that Ibrahim Lodi had more amounts of forces. But how did Babur manage to win this battle? That is, how did Babur manage to emerge victorious out of the first battle of Panipat that took place in 1526? It is because Babur's guns proved decisive in the battle. The guns that Babur had brought with him from Central Asia to invade India brought him victory, because Ibrahim Lodi lacked field artillery. As opposed to Babur, who had around 20 to 24 pieces of field artillery, Ibrahim Lodi did not have any. Simultaneously with that, we also have to remember that Babur had brought many cannons with him. The sound of these cannons scared Lodi's elephants. Lodi's elephants were frightened to the point of trampling upon their own men. In this way, Ibrahim Lodi lost a lot of soldiers. So he could not resist the attack of Babur's field artillery, and his own elephants were also trampling upon his own men. In this way, Babur emerged victorious out of the first battle of Panipat. But later on, research has shown that more than the guns that Babur had brought, it were his battle tactics. The battle tactics that Babur had implemented to invade India brought him victory over the troops of Ibrahim Lodi. And in this way, Ibrahim Lodi was defeated before the troops of Babur. As a result of this, as a result of the various battle techniques that Babur implemented, Ibrahim Lodi was defeated by Babur. In that battlefield itself, Ibrahim Lodi was defeated. With this, we come to an end of the Lodi dynasty, because Ibrahim Lodi was the last sultan to rule under the Lodi dynasty. Now, what did this end of Lodi dynasty pave the way for? The 5 great dynasties that ruled under the Delhi Sultanate were the slave or the Mamluk dynasty, which was followed by the Khilji or the Khalji dynasty. The 3rd dynasty to rule under the Delhi Sultanate was the Tughlaq dynasty, and this dynasty was followed by the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasty. Now, with the defeat of Ibrahim Lodi, the Lodi dynasty came to an end, and with this also came to an end the Delhi Sultanate itself, because the death of Ibrahim Lodi now paved for the Mughals to take power of India. Babur, who defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat, now laid the foundation of the Mughal Empire. The 5 great dynasties that ruled under the Delhi Sultanate came to an end in 1526. It was in the year 1206 that Qutbuddin Aibak laid the foundation of the Delhi Sultanate. Subsequently, many dynasties came, and with them came many sultans. Various sultans had different ways of ruling their dynasties. Some managed to expand and strengthen the dynasties, while in the hands of some sultans, the dynasty started shrinking in size. Now, with the defeat of Ibrahim Lodi, the Delhi Sultanate came to an end. It is this Delhi Sultanate, as in the background of the Delhi Sultanate, or how these dynasties ruled under the Delhi Sultanate, that we have been discussing in all these lessons. And this lesson brings to an end of the rule of the Delhi Sultanate, because now came to power the Mughal Empire. In a subsequent lesson, we will talk about how the Delhi Sultanate expanded or shrank in size under the rule of various sultans. Was it very easy for the sultans to annex various territories and increase the size of their dynasties? Or how difficult was it for them to bring new places, to bring new kingdoms under their control? It is these discussions that we will be continuing in our subsequent lesson. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers, or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million+ questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it's rewarding too. So register for free now.